I'm pleased to work today in the Department of Accounting, Economics and Finance, but my background is actually in none of those things at all. Um, so I have a background in physics, actually. That was one of my undergrad degrees. And then I went on to do my honours in radio astronomy with the CSIRO.
Mhm.
Um, and after that, I moved across to Swinburne to start my PhD. And so my PhD was here in Swinburne with the Centre for Astrophysics and Supercomputing. Um, and I was co-supervised by the CSIRO, so I was able to keep a little bit of a radio astronomy flavour to it.
So yeah, what's your PhD topic on? Or what was your PhD topic on?
So my PhD was at Swinburne in the Centre for Astrophysics and Supercomputing. Um, and it was an interesting one because the problem that astronomers are facing these days is that we're building these better and better telescopes, which is exciting. But they're better and better telescopes that are producing just tremendous amounts of data outputs. So the one that I was most involved with is a radio telescope in Western Australia, the Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder. And it's projected to produce, by some estimates, like 75 petabytes of data every year. So terabytes of data every night is sort of the new ballpark for astronomy.
And
Which
what
is
what does that array look to capture? What's its focus?
so it's sort of a mid-frequency radio astronomy array. It has a range of science goals, but the key thing that it is good at is surveying the sky really rapidly. So that means not only can you look at a big area of the sky, but you can also monitor it sort of at more regular intervals than we've been able to do before. It's sort of an array of 36 12-metre radio antenna dishes out in the West Australian desert. It's super cool. But yeah, it brings us these challenges, which are we've never had to work through terabytes of data every single night before. And when I first started my PhD, we didn't really have the tools to make that possible. But you know, astronomy has really been taking great strides over the last decade or so to skill up and tech up, and we've become very high-powered, computing-focused field, really. So my PhD had the modest goal of asking, well, how do we actually make discoveries in these floods of data that we're all of a sudden dealing with? So I had one case study working with the ASCAP telescope, and then I had a couple of case studies developing software solutions for astronomers like further down the pipeline, not only once you've gathered the data, but when you're actually trying to piece it together and do the analysis of it. So yeah, it was essentially software solutions for big data problems in astronomy.
Did you utilize other fields to help with that? Like, so I know big data analytics is across plenty of disciplines. Was there any particular techniques or strategies that you look to apply?
Well, it actually did end up at an interesting sort of multidisciplinary place, because what we found as we were working with these, I say big data projects, but some of them were also fast data projects. People say that big data as a challenge exists when your data exceeds the capacity that you have to handle it along one or more axes, and that could be sheer size. You've got a single file that's 75 petabytes in size or what have you, or it can be quantity. You've got 75 million files that are 1 kilobyte, or velocity is another axis. If small amounts of data are flooding in faster than you can keep up with them, that's a challenge. And that was one of the that sort of velocity part of the puzzle and enabling real-time data assessment was a big part of my PhD, as it turned out.
Is it important to have real-time data assessment when you're looking at the stars?
Well, this is probably not where you were expecting an interview for an accounting channel to go, but actually, interestingly, yes. As we've built this capacity to study the sky at faster cadences, we call it, than has ever been possible before, we found out that there's lots going on at those shorter timescales that we just weren't necessarily able to understand before. So obviously you've got supernovas, and they rise and fall over a timescale of months. But there's also all of these interesting shorter timescale, high energy phenomena. For example, one that we're interested in here at Swinburne particularly is called fast radio bursts. And they're, sort of millisecond bursts of incredibly high energy that you see at these radio wavelengths. And we'd love to catch one in the act, if you like, not only at radio wavelengths, but also with optical telescopes and other instruments. If we can do that,
I do fancy myself quite the, cosmologist or astronomer, but
cool.
I like that side of things. So it is very interesting. Who hasn't looked up at the night sky and wondered, right?
Anyway, so
a great area to look at.
It is. There's a big project here at Swinburne that coordinates telescopes across multiple wavelengths, trying to catch these things in the act. And if you're going to do that, you really need to be monitoring in real time and doing that data assessment in real time. So I built some software to help.
Do you get like a signal? Is it like you get a signal and then it's about trying to get as much eyes on that as possible at that time, or is it about going back and having a look at the data that you've already been collecting?
It's sort of both. So this program, which is coordinated out of Swinburne, it brings together maybe 10 telescopes to look at the same area of sky simultaneously. And the hope is that one of these interesting phenomena takes place while you're looking at that patch of the sky. But there's many more telescopes sort of on standby around the world. And if you can see, so you're catching something at multiple wavelengths as you're going through, and you can look back in the data and study it from a lot of lenses. But what you'd also love to do is, if you see something, immediately trigger every other telescope you've got access to and say, look here, look here. But if that's going to be meaningful, it needs to happen on a really short time scale, like ideally minutes if possible. So it's critical that this project can assess the data in real time as it comes in. And I built sort of a data analysis and assessment platform for them to make that possible. Again, I apologize, this is a bit of a diversion, but
I love it.
What emerged out of that was actually this whole set of insights about the importance of the human being and the human decision-making process in assessing our data. Because, in many ways, image classification, which is what this problem is a project that's very amenable to AI solutions, broadly speaking. But for this sort of high stakes situation, because this is expensive instruments, expensive situation, lots at stake when we're making these decisions, we can't delegate all our decision making to AI. So we need to keep the human in the loop of this data-driven decision making. So unexpectedly, my PhD in astrophysics ended up veering almost into a sociology area, where we had an interesting case study at the end looking at how astronomers actually make data-driven decisions. And we were able to collaborate with researchers across a number of other disciplines who are asking similar questions. Sports science, for example, how an AFL player out on the MCG, how are they making their decisions as to what's the most suitable next play, and similarly in a very high speed situation. So yeah, we had sports scientists, there's some computer vision experts were on that team, as well as other various academics across Swinburne. So that was an interesting multidisciplinary end to my PhD studies. I sort of went through, and I guess I proposed, we can build these intelligent software solutions for our data intensive challenges. But in the end, we will still always need to keep a little role for, the human discoverer, the human decision maker, even in these very, high performance systems. That was my argument.